Ready to level up your summer crochet? This easy beer bottle cozy keeps your drinks colder and your hands dry. Plus no slipping, no holes, and it works for soda bottles too. Hi, it's Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Today we are making these super easy and fast beer bottle cozies. They feature a solid bottom and nice tight stitches around the outside, so you can't even see what is the label on the inside. A little bit of discretion there. And they just slide right on snugly to your bottle. It has a super flat bottom. And of course, you could make them whatever height you like. If you want them to go up even more, you just add a couple more rows. I'm just using regular size 4 worsted weight acrylic. So my main color, a little bit of white, and just scraps for the top. So it's a really great stash busting project. I'll be using a 5mm crochet hook for these skinny bottles like a Corona or a Heineken. And if you have a more curvy bottle, you can just go up to a 6mm, and that will accommodate those bottles with curves. Here are the timestamps. You can jump back into where you left off, and let's get started. We're going to start our beer bottle cozy just by making a magic ring. So just put that tail over your non-dominant hand, hold it on your ring finger with your thumb, wrap it around your 2 fingers, making an X, bring it around your 3rd finger, and just slide it underneath your thumb as well. Turn your hand over, and you'll have a short strand and a long strand. Grab your 6mm crochet hook. Slide your hook underneath the short strand and on top of the long strand. Bring the long strand under and point the hook towards yourself with that yarn up on the fat part of your hook. Release your thumb a little bit so that long strand can slide. And turn the hook away from yourself underneath that long strand. Now you can pinch everything underneath your hook. Turn your hook and bring that yarn through the loop. And there is your magic ring. If you wanted to do a chain 3 ring, you could as well, but this gives a tighter finish at the bottom. Chain 1, pull up a bit of a bigger loop. And now into the ring, we are going to do 11 double crochets. So wrap your yarn and 11 double crochets into the center of the ring, taking care to work over that tail. If your tail gets too short, you can just go ahead and give it a pull so that it always stays long enough so you don't want to lose your tail. You can pause the video, keep working along. We want 11 double crochets, not including our chain. Our chain 1 counts as nothing. So just count your real 11 double crochets, and I'll meet you when you have them done. If you'd like to follow along with a written pattern, all of my patterns are available on my website, secretyarnery.com, and all of my patterns are written in plain English, just like I was sitting there right beside you. So there is my 11 double crochets, and we're going to pull our center tail to tighten up that center, just like that. And now we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet to join. Just there, 2 strands of that stitch on the top of our hook. We're just going to slip stitch to join. And now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3 small little chains. I don't want big chains, so just small little chains at the end of your hook. And now into the very same space or same stitch right here, we're going to make 1 double crochet into the same stitch. And now our chain 3 does count as a double crochet, so that counts as our first 2 double crochets. And now into each stitch, all the way around, we're going to do 2 double crochets into each. So 1 and 2. So you can pause the video, keep working along. 2 double crochets into each stitch. All the way along, I'll meet you when you get back right over here where we began. So there we are, back where we began. And you can just count that you have made 22 double crochets including your chain, or you've worked 2 double crochets into 11 stitches all the way along. So we want a total of 22 stitches now, including our chain. And we are ready to slip stitch into the top of our chain. Right there, we want 2 strands on the top of our hook. So another little slip stitch. And chain 2. 1 and 2. So now we're going to be doing back post half double crochets. So that means we're going to be coming in from the back right before our chain and going back out right after the chain. So on the back, it looks like this. That's where our hook is going to be. And that's where we're going to be doing our half double crochet. So wrap your yarn from the back, put your hook in before the chain and out after the chain. So we have that chain on our hook, and make your half double crochet. Just like that. So wrap your yarn in before the next stitch and out right after. And you can hold your work so it's not in the way. And make 1 back post half double crochet. And we're going to do that around each stitch all the way around. Just around the stitch, around the post. So wrap your yarn in before the stitch, out after the stitch. You can flip your work over so it's just like a normal half double crochet. It feels like it, but it's a back post half double crochet. And now you can pause the video and keep working along. 1 back post half double crochet around each stitch, and I will meet you back when you get right over here. If you want to see it in slow motion, this is what it looks like. Just like that. So now you can pause the video, keep working around 1 back post half double crochet around each post, and I'll meet you when you get all the way back right over here. So there we are, right back where we began. I've done my back post half double crochet around each stitch. So we're going to change hook size. We're going to work in with our 5mm hook from here on. So just pull your hook up to make a bigger loop. And we also want to sew in our center tail while we can still get at it nice and easy. So just make sure it's nice and snug and thread your needle. And now you can see where your yarn is coming from. So we worked around in this direction. So I'm just going to keep going a few stitches ahead in the same direction, just underneath those stitches where it's nice and fat, just around the center. These sharp tip needles really help. You can find them linked in my Amazon shop in the description. And then in the opposite direction, go around a few times as well. If you go forward and back, especially with a sharp tip, your magic ring is never going to come loose. Then you can cut off your tail and switch to your 5mm crochet hook. Put that loop of yarn back onto your hook. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first half double crochet or back post half double crochet to join, which is right here. We have our chain 2. You can see your chains 1 and 2. That's where we're going to be working in right there. So slip stitch into the top of the first back post half double crochet to join. Chain 1, and into the very same stitch, we're going to make 1 half double crochet. Into the next stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And now we're going to chain 2, skip 2. So chain 2, skip 2, and into the third, 1 double crochet, and into the next, 1 double crochet. So we're doing a chain 2 and 2 double crochets all the way around. So chain 2, skip 2, and 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So 1 double crochet and a second double crochet, just like that. So chain 2, skip 2, and 2 double crochets starting in that third stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Chain 2, skip 2, and 2 double crochets starting in the third. So there's our first double crochet and 1 double crochet into the next. Chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches. They're also the last 2 stitches before our join. So wrap your yarn and 1 double crochet into each of those stitches. 1 and 2. So now we are back at the join, and it's super easy. We're just going to start working in a spiral. So we're just going to keep doing the exact same thing. Chaining 2, skipping 2, and 2 double crochets. But now our 2 double crochets are going to be into the row below. So we're working over our chain and making our double crochets into the stitches underneath the space. So there is 1 double crochet and 2, and we're going over that chain. Just like that. So chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets, but they are below our chain, and we're working around our chain. So just put your hook in and make sure that chain is also on your hook. And make 1 double crochet and another. Just like that. Chaining 2, skipping 2, working into those 2 stitches underneath our chain, underneath the space, and making sure that chain is also on our hook. 1 double crochet and a second double crochet. You can pause the video, just keep working along. Chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets into the space below the chain. So there we are back at the beginning, and we have this weird little bit here. This is the last of what we have to fix before we just keep doing the repeat. So chain 2 and skip 2, so we're skipping these 2 stitches here. We're going to work into the 2 stitches below the space, which is our half double crochet we made in the very beginning and our double crochet, but we're also going to be working, making sure that that chain is also included in our stitch. So wrap your yarn and into that, the top of our first stitch, and underneath the chain, 1 double crochet, and into the next stitch as well, 1 double crochet. Now we're just on easy street, so chain 2, skip 2, and 2 double crochets into the stitches underneath the space. Now our work has kind of curled in for the next row or 2, so our stitches are way over here on the inside, right over there. So we're just going to go in right there. And then if you tip it, you'll see that you're underneath those V's. So they're way over there. Hope you can see that. So just put your hook in at the top and kind of going down. After this round, it's going to be easier. This is a weird one. After this, they'll be a lot more easy to see. So just keep working around, chaining 2, skipping 2. You can kind of also tip them up if it's easier to see those stitches. You just want to work into the top of them like usual and pull them up a bit with that stitch. It gives us a really nice texture. So you can pause the video, keep working around, chaining 2, skipping 2, and 2 double crochets into the stitches underneath the chain space. All the way around. We want to do this for 12 rounds. I'll show you what that looks like. If you are new to crochet, you can just look around the bottom edge of your work and you'll see that chain 2 that we made. See this guy right here? It kind of sticks out. It's different than everywhere else. We're just going to mark that with a stitch marker. That's where we started. That's where we joined. That's where our spiral begins. So we want to make sure that we end in the same spot or we change color in the same spot. So just pop a stitch marker into that and let's keep going. Now we want to work for 12 rows and you can see where we want to end. If you see where our stitch marker is or that chain 2, we want to change right here. Can you see that line in between those pairs right here? So this is going to be our last chiclet. How to count your chiclets. At the bottom of your cozy, you can see where our stitches start, not our half double at the very bottom, but our pairs, our repeat. There's a short pair and then a tall pair. So before our join, just go and count. We want to look for a tall pair. Doesn't matter which one you pick. So we can pick this tall pair here, and that counts as 2 rows. So there is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and it's 12 with the tallest one being 12. That's the right size for it, for what we're doing for this pattern. If you don't want to change colors, you could just keep going for 3 more rows. So now to change color, before I do my last double crochet into the chiclet before our join, or our pair of double crochets, we're going to start our double crochet like we normally would, take off our 2 loops, but leave those last 2 loops on your hook, and go ahead and get your white color yarn, our frosty color, or whatever color you want to use for yours. And we're just going to finish that double crochet with our new yarn color. So put a loop on your hook and bring it through. We're going to knot these tails so you don't have to make them very long. Just hold those tails along the back of your work and chain 2. 1 and 2. And now we're just going to keep going with our new color. So skipping 2 and 2 double crochets into the stitch below the space. Just like that. We're going to go around for 2 rows or until every chiclet has white at the top of it. When you get back to where we joined, just get those tails a little bit out of the way. I'm not going to knot them yet. I'm going to work over them first so that I know the stitches are exactly where they're going to be. But just work into those stitches like you normally would. And we're going to come back and knot those. So now pause the video and keep working around, and I'll meet you when we get back where we started. When we get back to where we started, you'll notice that there is now white in every spot. So if we kept going, we'd be working into white stitches instead of our original color. So that's how we know we are ready to change colors again. Just don't finish that very last double crochet. You can cut your yarn, just leaving a couple inch tail. We are going to knot those. And grab your new color. Hold that first tail along the back of your work. Put a new loop of yarn on your hook, a new color. Bring it through and also drop that tail. So you're holding 2 tails along the back of your work. And chain 2. So now you can keep working around with your new color. We want to do this for 1 round. So only until we get back to where we started right here. Now where we changed color right here, we also have to work into those stitches below. Our first set of stitches on the round are these 2 stitches here. And we just did a color change because it hides really easy underneath the chain. These 2 stitches below, the white guys, that still counts as the previous round. So do your usual, chain 2, skip 2, and do your last double crochets into these stitches here, the last double crochets of the round. So we're covering up that color change. And now we are ready to start filling in these spaces for the last round. So to do that, we're not chaining anymore. We're going to be working into these double crochets, 1 half double crochet into each stitch. and into the stitches below the space, 1 double crochet into each. So 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets. All the way around, we're just going to be filling in those spaces. So into the stitches, that's where our half double crochets are. They're shorter. And into the stitches below, just our usual 1 double crochet into each. So you can pause the video and keep working around, and I'll meet you when you have 1 space left right here. This 1 space. I'll meet you when you get right back there. So there we are. I have 1 space left. Into the first stitch, same as usual, 1 double crochet into that first stitch. And into the last stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet. We're going to start tapering it down. The 1 half double crochet into the last stitch. Now we're going to skip a stitch. So this next stitch right here, we are skipping that stitch. We're going to work into the second. So into the second stitch, 1 single crochet, and 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. If you are new to crochet, you can pop your stitch marker up into the first single crochet you made, just so you know where that was, if it's hard for you to see your stitches. And then you can pause the video, keep working around, 1 single crochet into each stitch, and I'll meet you when you get back to your first single crochet or where your stitch marker is. When you get back to your stitch marker, you can make a single crochet into that stitch before, pop out your stitch marker, and into that first stitch, we can slip stitch. You can do a chain 1 if you'd like, or you can also join with an invisible join. If you did a chain 1, you would literally chain 1, cut your yarn, pull your hook up, your yarn through, and sew in that tail. But I'm also going to show you how to do an invisible join. To join with an invisible join, normally we do it before we've done a slip stitch, but we're tapering it, so this slip stitch really helps us. So cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to use a needle, and just pull your yarn up and through. Thread your needle. If you're using a sharp tip needle, you can use the blunt end for this part. And we're just going to go underneath those 2 strands of the next stitch, just where we would normally be putting in our crochet hook, under those 2 loops. Just pop your needle through, and also back down where it came. You can see where it's coming from, this loop right there. We just want to go back down into the same loop. And shrink it up. Just like that. And now you can go ahead, use the sharp tip part of your needle and sew in your tail. Just back down through those stitches. We don't want to go side to side because it'll change the stretch of your cozy. Just up and down a few times, making sure you can't feel your needle on the good side of your cozy. And when you feel it's secure and it's not wiggling anymore, go ahead and cut that off. And now we can do our tails along the top. You just inside out your cozy a bit. We have these tails to do from our color changes. So just give them a little tug, make sure there are no big loops in there, and we're just going to go ahead and do a double knot. And a triple knot just to be sure. And using acrylic yarn, you can really pull it and make sure it's snug. When it is, go ahead and cut off those tails. And we want to do that for both color changes or for both sets of tails. So just give it a good pull and then cut off your tails. You're welcome to sew in your tails if you would prefer. So there is our cozy. It looks really skinny, but let me show you how it fits. Just grab your bottle and slide your cozy onto the end. Just like that. Wiggle it down. Make sure the base is nice and flat, like that. And there is your cozy. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did. I'm waiting for you in that video up there, and stay hooked.